The recently concluded Johnny Depp-Amber Heard case, bearing in mind that Amber's lawyers said they will appeal the decision but we are working with the position we are in at the moment, has had a lot of twists and turns since the filing of the divorce and the temporary restraining order by Amber Heard back in 2016. In this video, we highlight some of the most notable moments in the Johnny Amber story as a build-up to how we got to where we are today.
Amber Heard filed for divorce from Johnny Depp just days after the actor's mom died. Then, things turned nasty. Johnny and Amber first met while filming 2011's The Rum Diary.
I thought maybe you were a mermaid.
I'm from Connecticut.
At the time, Johnny was with his longtime partner, Vanessa Paradis. The two announced their split in June 2012. Months later, things started heating up between Johnny and Amber. Fast forward to February 2015, they tied the knot and celebrated with a beachside wedding in the Bahamas. In January 2016, Johnny publicly thanked his wife for, quote, putting up with him through all the roles he's played.
One night, I didn't want to take the old man Tonzo makeup off because I just thought I'll leave it because I got to put it on tomorrow morning. So I went home and I slept in it, and at a certain point she reached over and kind of put her arm around me and started flipping out because it was so horrible.
Amber attended the Met Gala solo just weeks before filing for divorce. On the day of her filing, Johnny attended the Alice Through the Looking Glass premiere alone, looking withdrawn. Johnny responded to Amber's filing, asking the court to terminate her request for spousal support.
Hey, Amber.
Flanked by security, Amber Heard doesn't try to hide the bruise on her cheek. Neither does her lawyer.
You guys, she showed a lot of courage today.
You okay, Amber?
A judge granted the actress a temporary restraining order against megastar husband Johnny Depp. As evidence, her lawyer showed these photos. Heard says this injury was a result of Depp throwing a cell phone at her and pulling her hair during a drug and alcohol-fueled rage. In a sworn declaration, she stated he had attacked her before, saying, quote, I am petrified he will return at any moment. Depp was a no-show. His attorney says he's in Europe. All the more reason, she argued, a restraining order was unnecessary, saying in court documents, quote, her current application for a temporary restraining order along with financial requests appears to be in response to negative media attention she received earlier this week after filing for divorce. Heard filed for divorce just days after the death of Depp's mother. In court today, Heard provided a witness statement backing up her story of Depp's attack and photos showing damage to the penthouse. But the LAPD says when they were called to the couple's address on Saturday, no one asked for a police report, and officers found no evidence that a crime had occurred.
Now Depp's daughter and his exes are coming to his defense. ABC's David Wright has all the details.
Johnny Depp is throwing himself back into work after his estranged wife, Amber Heard, accused him of domestic violence. And Depp's exes are now springing to his defense. Model Vanessa Paradis, who has 2 children with Depp, wrote in a letter obtained by TMZ, in all the years I've known Johnny, he has never been physically abusive with me. Their 17-year-old daughter, Lily Rose, posted this photo on Instagram. My dad is the sweetest, most loving person I know, and everyone who knows him would say the same. Depp's first wife, Lori Ann Allison, told TMZ he's a soft person.
We're learning disturbing new details about what happened at Depp's Hollywood condo the night in question, Saturday, May 21st, by their next-door neighbor, yoga instructor Raquel Pennington. Pennington was at Amber's side over the weekend following a 4-hour meeting with Amber's high-powered divorce lawyer. They were laughing uproariously. In court papers, Pennington says Amber called her hysterically the night of the alleged attack. She says she found Amber by the couch, covering her head with her arms and hands as Johnny was loudly screaming at her. I ran over and stood in between Johnny and Amber, begging Johnny to stop yelling at her. Depp denies the allegations and others are racing to his defense. His 17-year-old daughter, model Lily Rose, writes on Instagram, my dad is the sweetest and most loving person I know. And Depp's ex-wife, Vanessa Paradis, calls him sensitive and loving. This looks nothing like the man I lived with for 14 wonderful years. Comedian Doug Stanhope, a friend of Depp's, claims Amber was going to leave him, threatening to lie about him publicly in any and every duplicitous way if he didn't agree to her terms. Blackmail is what I would imagine other people might put it. A spokesman for the LAPD told Inside Edition they investigated the incident and they did not find any evidence of a crime.
Well, guys, after 3 grueling months of negotiations, Johnny Depp and Amber Heard have finally reached a settlement in their divorce, and in a joint statement to People, the actors agreed neither party has made false accusations for financial gain. There was never any intent of physical or emotional harm, and Amber wishes the best for Johnny in the future. In addition, Heard has dismissed her domestic violence case against Depp, who will pay the actress a reported $7 million in settlement money to end their 15-month marriage. LA family law expert Stephen Mendel, who is not associated with the case, tells People this is a settlement that both parties can be happily unhappy with, and those are usually the best settlements. Heard insisted from the beginning that none of her actions are motivated by money, and said in their joint statement that she is, quote, donating financial proceeds from the divorce to a charity, establishing that her integrity is especially important. Mendel saying Amber's credibility is probably the most important thing to her because she knows she's going to get a lot of money no matter what. At the end of the day, she needs to make sure her credibility is intact, and this statement adequately suffices to maintain her credibility. Now, while both parties seem to agree to disagree in their statement, Mendel explains no one can say Heard was a liar in this case because there's now a public statement saying no one lied for financial gain. And if you think the lump sum of $7 million is maybe low compared to Depp's huge estimated fortune, who reportedly earned $350 million for the first 4 Pirates of the Caribbean movies alone, Mendel explains how quickly that money can actually go. He says even though the numbers are massive, they crush down very quickly because a lot of people have their hands in Depp's pockets and half goes to taxes. It's very similar to what happens to lottery winners. By the time the taxes come out, the payments aren't as big as you think. Mendel also says that Heard's domestic violence allegations probably made Depp put more money on the table than he normally would have. And as for timing, Mendel says it's no coincidence a settlement was reached the eve of Depp's restraining order hearing, saying that going to trial was not going to help either party, and that, quote, Depp doesn't want to be deposed for a whole bunch of reasons, not the least of which is the deposition video or transcript that could be leaked, and that he doesn't want anybody to misinterpret what he may have said. And what about that leaked video allegedly showing a fight between Heard and Depp? It got all those headlines yesterday. Well, Mendel says the video could have precipitated the settlement due to the fact that Depp appeared to be drinking alcohol, which could have had damaging effects on Depp. Now, lastly, the lawyer says that the fatigue factor could be a huge reason a settlement was finally reached, saying this: at a certain point, people get exhausted with the process. The question is, who's in better condition to withstand the stress? And it's ridiculous, unhealthy levels of stress.
If anyone thought Amber Heard was after Johnny Depp's money, think again. The actress just announced she is giving away every cent of her $7 million divorce settlement. Here's the breakdown. Half goes to the American Civil Liberties Union for its Violence Against Women campaign. It's a meaningful issue for Amber. You'll recall she accused Depp of hitting her during their tempestuous marriage, and she was photographed with bruises on her face. Depp has denied the allegations. The rest of the settlement money, $3.5 million, will go to the Children's Hospital of Los Angeles. In a statement, Amber says, money played no role for me personally and never has, except to the extent that I could donate it to charity, and in doing so, hopefully help those less able to defend themselves. The divorce settlement was reached after this video obtained by TMZ showed Depp yelling at Amber and pouring a large glass of wine before apparently realizing he was being videotaped.
How is this happening to me? You know, I'm strong, smart. I'm not a victim to my detriment. I guess there was a lot of shame attached to that label of victim. It happens to so many women, you know, when it happens in your home behind closed doors with someone you love, it's not as straightforward. If a stranger did this, you know, as it was pointed out to me, if a stranger did this, it would be a no-brainer. It's the telling someone safe is the beginning of choosing yourself. I really, like, think about it. If I hadn't had that, if I hadn't had a few people that I really trust around me, a few women support, a few friends, if I hadn't had them around me, how different my life would be. Just as a woman, having gone through this in the public stage, and in the public arena that I did it, and I have a unique opportunity to remind other women not only that this doesn't have to be the way it is, you don't have to do it alone. You're not alone. And also, we can change this. Violence against women is not limited to actual physical violence. It is also about how we deal with it and how we talk about it in the media and in our culture. And us taking responsibility for it is what really needs to change. We need to take responsibility for how we talk about these things. It's the only way that people are going to feel comfortable in coming forward, raising their voices, standing up for themselves, is if we change the system in place that keeps them quiet. Speak up. Speak up. Raise your voice. Your voice is the most powerful thing, and we, together, as women standing shoulder to shoulder, cannot and will not any longer accept silence.
A video played during the trial was used as evidence to prove Johnny Depp was violent, along with images of a bruised Amber Heard who claims she was abused 14 times by the actor and feared for her life. The libel case was over this 2018 article in The Sun, labeling Depp a wife-beater. The trial exposed disturbing details of the couple's marriage, with both taking the stand. Depp maintained he never hit her, calling it all an elaborate hoax. Today, the judge ruled that the article was substantially true and that a majority of the alleged assaults had been proved to the civil standard.
He believed very strongly in his right to vindicate himself and his reputation.
This media lawyer says this ruling will have serious consequences for Depp and may impact future libel cases.
It will make claimants think very carefully before entering into a libel action as to whether or not it's really worth it for them.
In response to the decision, The Sun said domestic abuse victims must never be silenced, and thanked Amber Heard for her courage in giving evidence to the court.
To have this result, particularly now, just as we're about to go into another lockdown, I think sends a clear message to victims that actually do come forward. You will be believed, and for me, that's the most important thing.
Johnny Depp's lawyers are calling the ruling perverse and bewildering and plan to appeal it.
In November 2020, Depp lost his case against the publishers of The Sun newspaper after the UK High Court ruled that the abuse allegations made by Heard were, quote, substantially true. The Pirates of the Caribbean star had sued News Group newspapers and then executive editor Dan Wootton for libel after The Sun ran an article in which it labelled Depp a, quote, wife-beater and criticised his casting in the Fantastic Beasts movie.
I traveled here to the UK to testify as a witness to assist the court. After obtaining a restraining order in 2016 and finalizing my divorce, I just wanted to move on with my life. I did not file this lawsuit, and despite its significance, I would have preferred not to be here in court. It has been incredibly painful to relive the breakup of my relationship, to have my motives, my truth questioned, and the most traumatic and intimate details of my life with Johnny shared in court and broadcast to the entire world. I stand by my testimony, and I now place my faith in British justice. Although I did not bring up this lawsuit, I am aware of the precious resources being consumed by his litigation, and I will be glad to see those resources redirected to more important legal matters delayed by the COVID-19 pandemic. I appreciate the dedication, the hard work, and support of the defense legal team, as well as my US and UK lawyers. I also wish to extend my thanks to the very diligent and kind court staff and the police. who have been so sensitive in ensuring my safety, my protection, so that I could testify in safety. And finally, my heartfelt thanks for all of the tremendous and overwhelming outpouring of support that I have received and the many messages from all over the world. You have given me so much strength, and I send it back to you. Thank you.
A judge rules the Sun tabloid did not commit libel by referring to Depp as a, quote, wife beater in a 2018 news article. The phrase was used in reference to his tumultuous relationship with Amber Heard. Their courtship and 2-year marriage were heavily scrutinized during this summer's trial, where both parties made damning accusations about one another, involving drugs, alcohol, and physical violence on both sides. Judging from his legal firm's reaction to the ruling, that's likely. In a statement, they say the verdict is, quote, as perverse as it is bewildering, adding, the judgment is so flawed that it would be ridiculous for Mr. Depp not to appeal this decision. Meanwhile, lawyers for Amber tell ET, for those of us present for the London High Court trial, this decision and judgment are not a surprise. As for what the verdict will mean for Depp's career, that remains to be seen. He is set to return for the third Fantastic Beasts film, which is currently in production, and his role in Disney's Pirates of the Caribbean 6, which is still in development, remains unclear. But the former couple's legal war is far from finished. They're set to face off again next year in the US, where Johnny is suing Amber for defamation, stemming from a Washington Post op-ed she wrote in December 2018 detailing her alleged abuse but without naming her ex. The case is slated for trial in May.
Good afternoon, Mr. Depp.
Good afternoon.
Can you please tell the jury why you're here today?
Yes. About 6 years ago, Ms. Heard made some quite heinous and disturbing, brought these disturbing criminal acts against me that were not based in any species of truth. It was a complete shock that it just didn't need to go in that direction, as nothing of the kind had ever happened, though the relationship, there were arguments and things of that nature, but never did I myself reach the point of striking Ms. Heard in any way, nor have I ever struck any woman in my life. And so at the time, because the news of this, her accusations had sort of permeated the industry and then made its way through media and social media, became quite a global let's say, quote unquote, fact, if you will. And since I knew that there was no truth to it whatsoever, I felt it my responsibility to stand up not only for myself in that instance, but stand up for my children, who at the time were 14 and 16, and so they were in high school, and I thought it was diabolical that my children would have to go to school and have their friends or people in the school approach them with the infamous People magazine cover with Miss Heard with a dark bruise on her face. And then it just kept, it kept multiplying. It just kept getting bigger and bigger. So it was my responsibility, I felt, to not only attempt to clear my name for the sake of, well, for many reasons, but I wanted to clear my children of this horrid thing that they were having to read about their father, which was untrue. And also, after many years of being in this industry, at the time it was I'd probably been in the industry 30 plus years, 35 years. Never had any problems, anything like that. And I had met many people over the years, many of the people, and had the opportunity to talk to those people and to even give advice to these people. And I'm not, my goal is the truth. My goal is the truth because it killed me that people that I had spoken with, that I had met with over the years, who maybe were in a not such a great position and they needed advice, and I gave them the best advice I could. All I could think of was that those people would think that I was a fraud and that I had lied to them. And so I had to wait for my opportunity to address the charges, which were criminal charges, and they just weren't true. So I felt the responsibility of clearing the record as the only way that I could get to the point where I could speak has really taken this full 6 years. And it's been 6 years of trying times. It's very strange when one day you're Cinderella, so to speak, and then in 0.6 seconds you're Quasimodo. And I didn't deserve that, nor did my children, nor did the people who have believed in me for all these years. I didn't want any of those people to believe that I had done them wrong or lied to them or that I was a fraud. I pride myself on honesty. I pride myself on truth. Truth is the only thing I'm interested in. Their lies will get you nowhere, but lies build upon lies and build upon lies. It's too much to cover. I'm obsessed with the truth, and so today is the first opportunity that I've been able to speak about this case in full for the first time. I said to Travis, I said to you, hey, tell Travis what just happened.
You told me to do it. You told me to. You said, go do that.
I said, no, tell them what just happened.
And I lied.
And that you punched me in
You're
the
right.
fucking thing. And
You figured it out.
And you said, no, fucking, no, I didn't. What the fuck are you talking about? And I
didn't
watched
punch
you lie. And then
I didn't punch you,
and
by
then
the way. I'm sorry that I didn't hit you across the face in a proper slap, but I was hitting you. It was not punching you. Babe, you're not punched.
Don't tell me what it feels like to be punched.
You know, you've been in a lot of fights. You've been around a long time. I know. Yeah.
No, when you fucking have a close
You
fist.
didn't get punched. You got hit. I'm sorry I hit you like this, but I did not punch you. I did not fucking deck you. I fucking was hitting you. I don't know what the motion of my actual hand was, but you're fine. I did not hurt you. I did not punch you. I was hitting you.
How are you tough?
What am I supposed to do? Do this? I'm not sitting here bitching about it, am I? You are. That's the difference between me and you. You're a fucking baby.
Because you started.
You are such a baby. Grow the fuck up,
Because you
Johnny.
started physical fights.
I did start a physical fight.
Yeah, you did. So I had
Because-
to get the fuck out of there.
Yes, you did. So you did the right thing, the big thing. You know what? You are admirable.
So finger, man. Come on. I had a mineral can of mineral spirits thrown at my nose.
You can please tell people that it was a fair fight and see what the jury and judge think. Tell the world, Johnny. Tell them, Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp, man, I'm a victim too of domestic violence, and
Yes.
it's a fair fight. And see how many people believe or side with you.
Just a finger, man. Come on. I had a mineral can of mineral spirits thrown at my nose.
You can please tell people that it was a fair fight and see what the jury and judge think. Tell the world, Johnny. Tell them, Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp, man, I'm a victim too of domestic violence, and
Yes.
it's a fair fight. And see how many people believe or side with you.
1. As to the statement appearing in the online op-ed entitled, Amber Heard, I spoke up against sexual violence and faced our culture's wrath. That has to change. In the Washington Post online edition, quote, I spoke up against sexual violence and faced our culture's wrath. That has to change, end quote. 2. As to the statement appearing in the op-ed entitled, A Transformative Moment for Women in the Washington Post print edition and the online op-ed, Amber Heard, I spoke up against sexual violence and faced our culture's wrath. That has to change. In the Washington Post online edition. Quote, then 2 years ago, I became a public figure representing domestic abuse, and I felt the full force of our culture's wrath for women who speak out, end quote. 3. As to the statement appearing in the op-ed entitled, A Transformative Moment for Women in the Washington Post print edition and the online op-ed, Amber Heard, I spoke up against sexual violence and faced our culture's wrath. That has to change. In the Washington Post online edition. Quote, I had the rare vantage point of seeing in real time how institutions protect men accused of abuse, end quote. Do you find that Mr. Depp has proven all the elements of defamation? Answer, yes. Has Mr. Depp proven by a greater weight of the evidence that question, the statement was made or published by Ms. Heard? Answer, yes. Question, the statement was about Mr. Depp? Answer, yes. Question, the statement was false? Answer, yes. Question, the statement has a defamatory implication about Mr. Depp? Answer, yes. Question, the defamatory implication was designed and intended by Ms. Heard? Answer, yes. Question, due to circumstances surrounding the publication of this statement, it conveyed a defamatory implication to someone who saw it other than Mr. Depp? Answer, yes. Do you find that Mr. Depp has proven by clear and convincing evidence that Ms. Heard acted with actual malice? Answer, yes. As against Amber Heard, we, the jury, award compensatory damages in the amount of $10 million. As against Amber Heard, we, the jury, award punitive damages in the amount of $5 million. As to this statement appearing in the April 27, 2020 online edition of the Daily Mail, quote, quite simply, this was an ambush, a hoax. They set Mr. Depp up by calling the cops, but the first attempt did not do the trick. The officers came to the penthouses, thoroughly searched and interviewed, and left after seeing no damage to face or property. So Amber and her friends spilled a little wine and roughed the place up, got their story straight under the direction of a lawyer and publicist, and then placed a second call to 911, end quote. Do you find that Ms. Heard has proven all the elements of defamation? Answer, yes. Has Ms. Heard proven by a greater weight of the evidence that, question, Mr. Waldman, while acting as an agent for Mr. Depp, made or published the statement? Answer, yes. Question, the statement was about Ms. Heard? Answer, yes. Question, the statement was seen by someone other than Ms. Heard? Answer, yes. Question, the statement was false? Answer, yes. Do you find that Ms. Heard has proven, by clear and convincing evidence, that the statement by Mr. Waldman was made with actual malice? Answer, yes. As to this statement, appearing in the April 8, 2020 online edition of the Daily Mail, quote, Amber Heard and her friends in the media use fake sexual violence allegations as both a sword and shield, depending on their needs. They have selected some of her sexual violence hoax facts as the sword, inflicting them on the public and Mr. Depp. As to this statement, appearing in the April 27, 2020 online edition of the Daily Mail, quote, we've reached the beginning of the end of Ms. Heard's abuse hoax against Johnny Depp, end quote. Do you find that Ms. Heard has proven all the elements of defamation? Answer, no. As against John C. Depp II, we, the jury, award compensatory damages in the amount of $2 million. As against John C. Depp II, we, the jury, award punitive damages in the amount of $0.
It's been about more than a week since the verdict. As you sit here with me now, has it sunk in? How could it? It's surreal and difficult, in part, yes. This has been a long time coming. Do you stand by your testimony and your accusations against Johnny Depp about abuse? Of course. To my dying day, will stand by every word of my testimony. I think vast majority of this trial was played out on social media. I think that this trial is an example of that gone haywire, gone amok, and the jury is not immune to that. You think the jury saw it? How could they not? I think even the most well-intentioned juror, it would have been impossible to avoid this. Every single day I passed for 3, 4, sometimes 6 blocks, city blocks lined with people holding signs saying, burn the witch, death to Amber. After 3.5 weeks, I took the stand and saw just a courtroom packed full of Captain Jack Sparrow fans who were vocal, energized. Can you put into words how that felt? This was the most humiliating and horrible thing I've ever been through. I have never felt more removed from my own humanity. I felt less than human. This is not only about our First Amendment right to speak. But here's the thing about the First Amendment. The First Amendment protects free speech. It doesn't protect lies that amount to defamation, and that was the issue in the case. Yes, exactly. You can't go into, the free speech does not protect you if you go into a crowded theater and you scream fire. We get the concept of free speech from the Greeks. My understanding of what that means is not just the freedom to speak. It's a freedom to speak truth to power.
But truth is the word.
Yes.
And that was the issue.
And that's all I spoke. And I spoke it to power, and I paid the price.
In the closing arguments, the Depp lawyer called your testimony the performance of a lifetime and said you were acting. What do you say to that?
Says the lawyer for the man who convinced the world he had scissors for fingers.
The Depp team argued that you were the abuser, that you instigated physical violence. Did you?
I never had to instigate it. I responded to it. When you're living in violence and it becomes normal, as I testified to, you have to adapt.
You say you were responding, but there is evidence. There are tapes in which you acknowledge hitting. There are tapes in which you say, I started the fight.
I know much has been made of these audio tapes. They were first leaked online after being edited. What you would hear in those clips are not evidence of what was happening. It was evidence of a negotiation of how to talk about that with your abuser.
But I am looking at a transcript that says, he says, you start physical fights, and you say, I did start a physical fight. I can't promise you I won't get physical again. I mean, this is in black and white. I understand context. But you're testifying and you're just telling me today, I never started a physical fight, and here you are on tape saying you did.
As I testified on the stand about this, is that when your life is at risk, not only will you take the blame for things that you shouldn't take the blame for, but when you're in an abusive dynamic, psychologically, emotionally, and physically, you don't have the resources that, say, you or I do with the luxury of saying, hey, this is black and white, because it's anything but when you're living in it.
But then there are other times, there's another tape where you're taunting him and saying, oh, tell the world, Johnny Depp, I, a man, am a victim of domestic violence.
20-second clips or the transcripts of them are not representative of even the 2 hours or the 3 hours that those clips are excerpt from.
Could your side have just put the whole 3 hours in then?
I'm not a lawyer. As I testified to, I was talking in those recordings as a person in extreme amount of emotional, psychological, and physical distress.
He says he never hit you.
He
never. Is that a lie?
Yes, it is.
What about the witnesses who said they have seen you instigate physical violence?
I've seen firsthand how people will file rank person they depend on.
Did they all come in and lie in court?
I am not here to call any of his witnesses any names. I'm here to just kind of talk about it from what it felt like for me as the person who sat there.